This is Basketball Talk Pro, and I'm Ron Ekker. And we're going to get started on the subject of making your drills special in just a minute. But I wanted to remind those of you who have shown some interest in the statistics course, when you're watching this, it'll be the 10th and the 11th. And it expires on the 15th. I'm sorry to have to do that, but it's just so we just can't run it with without with that price for very long. So I wish if you were going to do it that you would do it while you can get the full discount. Now remember, even after this introductory discount goes off, you still get one for being part of Basketball Talk Pro. It's 20%. But 38% is a lot better, and so you may want to think that out. Now I'm going to talk to you about working with your drills. Drills are important, but they're not the most important. They are just there to help you get your team to play the way that you want them to. You have to take your offense and your defense apart and work on just specific parts not once in a while, but pretty often. And so, but we take a little bit too much emphasis on them, and I think a lot of coaches think they're just a panacea, that man, you do this drill and our team's going to turn around and I'm going to be a better coach. It's not that. It isn't any miracle thing. It's hard work, really hard work, and has to be done in the right way. If you're having trouble getting a drill and then it doesn't work, and you get another one and it doesn't work, I have to tell you this. It's not the drill. It's not the players. You're the enemy. If you're not prepared and you're not take the time to do things right with these drills, they can fail you. And running a drill is an art. One guy can go in and make the drill look terrible. The next guy can take the same players, the same drill, and turn it into something that's really helpful to the players. And this is where we want you to reach towards. When I was in the CBA, I went to training camps, NBA training camps, every fall, 3-4 at a time. I think I saw every team. But there was one in particular. It was hard to get into this camp. It was Dick Motta's camp at Dallas. But I happened to know one of his former players, and he introduced me, and I got to go, and I went many years to that camp. Dick Motta was a remarkable teacher. He could take the simplest drill and turn it into something magical. The players just picked up and learned. It was fun to watch, and he didn't have a lot of drills, but with the ones he ran really well, and it paid off. His team was tough to beat when he was coaching. I think there's two things I'd like to caution you about as a coach on drills, and then I have kind of a sheet with 7 elements of a drill for a coach, and I want you to see that. But the things I want you to be aware of is don't forget the detail. If I see any mistakes when I watch coaches struggle with these drills, it's because of the details. The details are important. How you line the lines up, how many balls you got, everything, and you make sure that players are doing it the right way. It makes a difference in the world. Players will respond to that. The other thing is to be involved mentally in the drill. I call it kind of a relaxed intensity. It isn't where you're running around screaming and yelling instructions, and it's more where you are making instructions, but you show the intensity and the passion because it's coming from the inside. It's not made up. It's real. If you don't do that, these drills can get to be very sloppy, and players losing interest in it. You know, I can run the same simple drills all year long, and the players still respond to them. And most coaches that have a system can do that. So to look at those points when we go into the next section, which is a section showing you 7 elements that I think are essential to running drills correctly, if you'll do them. So let's not wait any longer. Let's just go in and see what those seven elements are. Read the first line. Every drill needs these elements. And the second line, the first 4 elements need to be written out. I'm going to take them one by one so that I can make it as clear as possible what you should be doing to run a drill right. You want to be a champion drill person in the top 10%. And then you'll see the result on the floor with your players. Number 1, purpose. Write the purpose out and make it clear and concise. The purpose should not be multiple. It should be singular. In other words, you're trying to do one thing. Now, that doesn't mean that, for example, we have ran the screen away drill. Well, that involves 4 or 5 different cuts, and it involves at the same time a screener making a correct movement off of it. But it's still doing one thing, and that is running the screen away. It's you are developing people, your players, to be able to run that. So be very clear on the purpose. Don't go through this quickly. Number 2, does it relate to your system? Now we're going to talk about building a system. I've done a little bit of it already, but I want to get more detailed and more in depth with it. It's in the book. You can read in the book. But every good coach has a system, and it's what sets them apart. It would give them consistency year after year. Not always in the championship level, but they're always competitive. They're always in the game. You have to gauge everything you do in practice. Does it relate to the system? If it doesn't relate to the system, forget it. I don't care how snazzy a drill looks on the whiteboard at a clinic. If it doesn't help your system, then forget it. Use only those drills that affect your system. Description. Carefully write out how the drill is run. How many lines are you going to have? How many basketballs do you need? How many people to help? How many of everything? All of that is described. How is the guy going to go from one line to another? How is the pass is going to be made? All of those things. It's probably 2-3 sentences, 4 sentences, well written out. And the last one of the things you should write out is coaching points. Carefully, what points do you want to get across as a coach? Make sure, whether it's 1 or 2 or 5, Make sure that you're aware every day of what those coaching points are. Now, the next one, mental practice. We had a session on mental practice just a couple of sessions ago. Oh, here's what I'm talking about. When I get this far on, say, a new drill, which I don't have many new drills anymore, but still on my old drills, the drills I've ran hundreds and hundreds of times, I sit down with that drill and go over it and over it in my head. I see it how it's run. I see the corrections I've got to make. I visualize what the players are doing. I do this very carefully. I visualize uh, problems that can come up. I try to visualize uh, how to make corrections. I go over it in my mind very carefully, um, and then take it to the floor first. Number six, I never do anything without going on the floor first. I'm not just going to throw a drill out there that I haven't walked through myself. A lot of times I have to do it alone, early in the morning. And the only friends I have out there are chairs. I put the chairs where people are. So I see the distances. And every time I do that, I recognize where I might have a problem. How far am I going to have this line away? How far is the pass, should the pass be, or whatever. Distances and angles and timing. Uh, get out there on the floor. Get help if you can. But if you can't, your best friends are those chairs. I don't care where you go, get them out of the classroom, bring them back, of course. The last one is very, very important. Repetition. Run these drills, the same drill over and over and over again. Your players get better with it, they get more comfortable with it, but you get better at it. You get more comfortable with it. You begin to see some problems that you hadn't been able to think through, and you can make adjustments, not on the floor at that time, but when you get done with practice and you're going over that practice, you'll remember that, boy, this has got to be done this way. All those things. You learn through repetition as a coach. Your players learn through repetition. Don't give them new things all the time. It's just extra learning that they don't need. And so if you can do these 7 things and really put yourself into it. Now, I can't, I see so many coaches, I see so many fail with drills. They pick one up, pick another one up, pick another one up. It has no meaning to them. They don't prepare for it. They go out on the floor. They're not prepared. It fails, so they drop it. It's really pathetic. Don't be one of those guys. Uh, work at this. Become good at it. Become really good at it, better than anybody else, and you'll see some results. But remember, write these. I hope you're writing notes now, and if you're not doing it now, come back to this thing. Write those 7 things down. Live with them, and you'll have great success. And plus, you're helping your players. You're doing something for them. You can't expect them to give it all if you don't give it all. You got to be in every drill. You got to be mentally, intensely involved in every drill, keeping track of every detail. And that doesn't mean you got to do a lot of talking or you got to be directing everything. I don't want that. But watching, seeing things, knowing when to correct them. You know, the best thing about this as a coach, you do those 7 things all the time with every time you run a drill. I do them. I don't write them down every time. I'll tell you how I do it. I have a yellow pad. I draw the drill. That's another thing. In the description, draw it out. exactly like you're going to run it. That's part of the description. I, I draw the drill, I write the purpose, I uh, uh, write how it's going to relate to our system. I write the description out. I write the coaching points out. I keep that yellow pad. Each year, though, even though I've ran these drills hundreds of times, I got about 35. It's in a book. They're all, I have all the drills I use in there, and I list them. But every year, I start out like I'm running them for the first time. Because, a year off, you get a little rusty. You need to really be primed up. But when I take the floor to run a drill, I have all the confidence in the world. I've done my job. I've done my work, and you can see it when a coach has got that kind of confidence. You look at the films when I run a drill. I'm sure of myself. I'm not worried. So that gives me uh, a flexibility with the players and with corrections and how long to go because I know the drill inside and out. And you have to do the same thing. Well, I hope you got all those elements. And if you didn't, go back. Make sure you write them down. You notice I had four things I insisted that you write down about running a drill. Makes a difference in the world. If you can't write it down or won't write it down, you don't really know it. And when you have to put things to words, it clears up how you phrase things, how you work with things. I can't encourage you enough to take pride, not only in drills, but in running your offense and defense. It's hard work. I mean, you have to be on your toes every minute. You have to be mentally concentrating for an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's very hard. It's fatiguing. Physically, it's tiring. Mentally, it's very tiring. It's the price we pay. That's all. If you're going to be good at anything, I don't care what it is, you got to pay that price. Nobody succeeds laying back. You have to push yourself. Just like you have to push the players have to push themselves. So don't forget it. I hate to even leave this session because I think it's important how you approach teaching and helping the players learn. But that's it for today. We'll see you in a couple days. Thank you.